Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm from Canada and I'm broadcasting to you from Central Europe. I hope everybody has had a great weekend and looking forward to a fantastic week ahead. In this class, we are looking at speaking part 3 for the speaking interview. Of course, for the computer or paper-based IELTS exam, the speaking section consists of a 12 to 15-minute interview, usually with a native English-speaking person face-to-face. The speaking has 3 parts. We covered part 2 yesterday, and now we're going to continue with part 2. Hi, Hikmatillo. Hi, Pachu. Rodrigo, June, Hassan. Good to see members in the class. Hi, students. All right, everyone. Again, these lessons are brought to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS help. Check us out there. Spend a couple dollars, save yourself a lot of headache and time. For general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. On both of those websites, we have 6 full practice exams, computer-based exams, interactive courses for your phone, tablet, PC, as well as lots of strategies and over 100 hours of video lessons. The websites, they look like this. This is aehelp.com for academic. Click the red button to join. And for the general, it's this green background here. Click that red button to join us there. Students, if you haven't yet, get our apps. Link the apps to the web account. You can learn through the app or through the website from the same account. For academic, it's Academic IELTS Help app. And for general, it's General IELTS Help app. Check us out on Android, Google Play, and Apple App Stores. For questions, yes, I got the questions, members, that you sent me yesterday. For questions, send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com and I will gladly respond ASAP. Again, this is speaking part 3. It's the last class for this week, Monday, Tuesday. No classes. Then I will be back again on Wednesday, the 8th, with speaking part 1. And then on the 9th, some task 1 for members, and we have lots of classes all the way until the 11th. So yesterday, we looked at a part 2 question, and I'm going to show you the question from yesterday for part 2, just so you remember the information and use it for part 3, okay? This is a speaking class, so make sure to speak, okay? Speak and repeat. Even though I cannot hear you, type in the chat and then say what you type or say what you hear me say. Okay? All right. So yesterday we looked at this part 2 cue card. Students, just say this, read it with me, speak while we do this, okay? That'll be good review. All right? Here we go. So talk about an exercise you have thought of doing to help you think better. What is the activity or exercise? Where did this idea come from? How can this practice help improve your thinking? What do or did you need to make this a reality? Okay, so we answered this cue card question yesterday. This was our answer. So repeat after me. Okay, say this. Read it with me, nice and loud, not like, but nice and loud so you can hear yourself, okay? So here we go. An exercise which I thought is beneficial for my cognitive skills is playing chess regularly. It is a game of strategy played between 2 opponents on an 8x8 checkered board with 16 pieces each. The goal of this game is to put the opponent into a checkmate, which means the king is no longer able to move and is under attack. It is trapped by other pieces. One day on a flight to the UAE around last June, I played it for the first time on a tablet with my friend, and I have been addicted ever since. These days, I find myself playing chess at least 3 to 4 times a week with either friends, my sister, or my mom, as they too love the game. I have been reading books and using computer software to improve my skills and strategic thinking. Not only has chess deepened my relationship with my parents and siblings, but my quick analytic thinking has improved immensely. Playing chess has really helped better my problem solving skills and exercises both hemispheres of my brain. In fact, my improved thinking has also led to more money as I am now more confident and skillful in making stock investments. To make my brain exercise, I really needed a few chess apps on my phone and laptop. To make my brain exercise a reality, I needed a few chess apps on my phone and laptop. In addition, I needed to free up some time to practice and build confidence by defeating some opponents like my sister and mom. Fortunately, I had all of these, and now I've improved my thinking as a result. Okay, the examiner will then say, great, your 2 minutes, they won't say great. They'll say your 2 minutes is up. I will stop you there. I'm going to take back the card with the questions, the note paper, the pencil, and now we will continue with part 3. For part 3, I will ask you some questions related to the topic of part 2. Okay, so here comes our part 3 questions, the focus of today's class. As we get into this, again, I want to emphasize what I just said. So the examiner will say, now, it's almost verbatim. They get taught this sentence. So now I will ask you some questions related to the topic of part 2. It's really important that you do a good job in part 2 so that you can answer the part 3 questions better. Okay? Also, when you hear this sentence, you should immediately think, I must make connections to what I said in part 2. Okay? So we talked about chess, playing chess, using it as a brain exercise to think better, think faster, more analytic. So use this information in part 3. Okay, speak in full sentences. Here we go. Let's talk more about exercising the mind. All right? And the examiner asks you, what are different ways that people keep their minds in good health? So give me a nice full sentence answer for this one and make connections to part 2. Okay? So in part 2, we talked about chess as the exercise which we do to enhance our thinking. And now the examiner is asking you, what are different ways that people keep their minds in good health? So Pedram NG says, in order to retain a good mind, individuals should definitely stay away from addictive drugs like cigarettes or activities like playing excessive video games. Pedram, it's okay, but you're answering the negative. You're answering the question, what shouldn't people do? The question is asking, what should people do? And then you say, and replace it with meditation and working out. That's good. Just make sure you focus more on the positive side, Pedram. Okay? Hassan says, certainly a healthy body means a healthy mind. I believe that a person needs to have a positive attitude and shun negative environment. Like I prefer to surround myself with optimistic people. Okay, so optimism, sure. Marasa says, well, some useful activities which come to mind right now is listening to music, reading poetry, and painting. Not only this, As I mentioned in the cue card, I keep my mind relaxed by playing chess. Okay, this is keeping your mind in good health, students. So good health, that's your focus here. Charlie Sen says, I think meditation, yoga, doing crossword puzzles, and obviously chess, just as I talked about, are ways people can improve their mind's health. Good, Charlie Sen. Nice connection to part 2. You're going to get a better band score. Fantastic. Nicely done. SwimFan070 says, one of the best ways to keep our mind in good health is to get up early and go to bed early. Performing mind-intensive tasks also keeps our memory in good condition. Nice. Rajveer says, individuals not only do regular exercise, but should also play some analytic games to maintain a healthy mind. As I just mentioned, people should play chess to keep their brains healthy. Good, Rajveer. Nice connection. Again, I applaud you for paying attention to that. Nice. So, aside from playing strategy games like chess, as I had just talked about, people should also pay attention to doing both regular exercise and eating healthy, as these are important for having a healthy brain. Exercise improves blood circulation, and a good diet provides all the nutrients needed for sharp thinking. All right, so what I'm doing here, viewers, members, is giving you that band 9 level response where you're showing lexical resource, you're showing grammatical range, fluency, coherence, all of those key elements to get those high band scores. Notice how here I'm reflecting immediately. So a few of you did a good job to make that connection to your part 2 response about chess, which was nice. To take that one step further, use this kind of phrase to have the connection coming up right away, right at the beginning. So aside from playing strategy games like chess, as I had just talked about, people should also pay attention to doing both regular exercise and eating healthy, as these are important for having a healthy brain. Exercise improves blood circulation, and a good diet provides all the nutrients needed for sharp thinking. This is my explanation, my reasoning. Okay? You should always focus on giving an explanation, a reason for your answers. All right? So this would be your band 9 level response. You're using complex grammar. You're using a coordinating conjunction. I had just talked. You're using a past perfect, okay, to doing both regular exercise, both, and you're using a correlative conjunction. Aside from playing, using aside is a subordinating conjunction. So this is a truly complex, coherent, natural high-level response, okay? That's what you want to work towards as you improve your English and communication skills. Now, comes the follow-up question. Which of these is most effective? So in part 3, your examiner will definitely be asking you some details and follow-up questions to your answers, so be ready to go into more details and provide more explanations. So now I've mentioned strategy games. I've mentioned exercise. I've mentioned a healthy diet. Which of these is most effective? So which of these help the most for a person to have a fit, healthy mind? Give me a nice full sentence answer for that in your own words. Let's see. Juan Pablo Avila says the most important is having a healthy diet, because even if we don't exercise often, good nutrients can help us improve in every way, especially for the mind. Juan Pablo, I think that's a great answer. I would actually agree with you that diet is perhaps the most important. So nicely done. Surya says, I got an overall band 7 in an IELTS academic. Thanks, sir. You are very welcome, Surya. I'm super happy that you got an overall band 7. And it's truly an honor to have been your teacher. I wish you the best of luck in your next steps, Surya. Send me an email so we can let other students know that our students are successful. It's great. Good job, Surya. Ferdovs Nabiev says, the most important are regular exercise and playing strategy games, as they have more influence on people's mind. Ferdovs, when you have this question, which of these is most effective, you should only be choosing one, not two. Okay, just one. All right? Doesn't have to be a perfect answer, doesn't have to be the truth. Just choose one and focus on it. All right? Latifa says, I think the most effective way is a healthy diet, because lack of nutrition leads to several problems, including brain fog and difficulty in thinking. Very good, Latifa. Okay, so you're going into an explanation of what happens to the brain when it doesn't get proper nutrition. Nice. Peya Bazak says, I think regularly working out is the most effective to get relief from stress. As people are becoming devoted in work, joining a gym or just freehand exercise will definitely enable a person to unwind and have healthy thinking. Okay, Peya, good. I like your answer. Just make sure to bring it back, Peya, to the topic, which is a healthy brain, a healthy mind. Okay. Roshni says, well, all plays an imperative role, but playing chess is the most effective because it enforces thinking critically as well as improves mental ability. Like when I play chess for an hour, I just seem to have a lot more clarity and sharpness in my approach. Good, Roshni. I like it. You're making a connection to what you said previously. Nice, okay? Pachu says, I think eating healthy food is the most effective way of keeping a fit mind, because nutrition has a major impact on how effectively our brains work. Too much sugar and our brain shuts down. All right. So, if you need to think about it, use some kind of a leading expression like that's a tough question, as all of these are important. But if I had to choose, I would say that nutrition supersedes all of the others, because without it, the brain just shuts down. What I mean is that the mind requires glucose and other important elements to work properly. All right. So again, just giving you some vocabulary, some further insight, and this nice leading expression to buy yourself a bit of time. If you get a question where you're like, oh, that's a tough question, whether it's the English or the content, you can absolutely say, oh, that's a tough question. That's an important question. But if I had to say, okay, so you're buying a bit of time while maintaining your fluency, and that's really important. So that's a tough question, as all of these are important. But if I had to choose, I would say that nutrition supersedes all of the others because without it, the brain just shuts down. What I mean is that the mind requires glucose and other important elements to work properly. All right, students, notice the word supersede. Supersede means to take priority above the others, okay? So you have strategy games, you have exercise, you have nutrition, and nutrition supersedes the other elements, okay? All right, so far, so good. Again, remember everyone, this is a speaking class, so speak and repeat nice and loud. Be confident, don't be shy, okay? Here we go. Next question. Sometimes you get these kinds of statements in section 3, and you have to either agree or disagree or respond to it. So here is this question. Some people, so the examiner will say this to you, obviously. They'll say, some people believe that a healthy body leads to a healthy mind. Do you agree with this? Why or why not? Okay. So some people believe that a healthy body leads to a healthy mind. Do you agree with this? Why or why not? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. Okay? So Temir Khan Kalmurzaev says, well, a healthy body leads to a healthy mind, but it doesn't make the brain active and productive. For instance, learning new languages saves the brain from certain diseases such as Alzheimer's. Temir Khan, I like your answer. Be careful with your grammar. You have some missing articles, okay? And write it like you would say it. So in this case, students, make sure that when you're writing your answers, write it the same way that you would actually say it, not like how you would write it for an essay. Okay, it's not a writing class, it's a speaking class. Hassan says, as I mentioned before, a healthy body is backed up by a healthy mind. Therefore, both of these are crucial. Additionally, good sleep does not only enhance the body, but also the mind as well. All right, Hassan. When you get a question like this, state it very clearly whether or not you agree with this idea, okay? So in your answer, you should start by, yes, I agree with this concept or this statement or this expression, okay? But you need to definitely clearly and directly say that, okay? If I say, do you agree with this statement? Then your answer should be, yes, I absolutely agree with this statement because, okay? So direct answers. Okay, I'm going to emphasize that as my tip number 2 today. So tip 2, for high band scores on the IELTS, use the question or questions in your answers and give very direct answers. Okay, so your answers for this one should be yes or no. Okay, so yes, I agree with this notion 100%. All right, so you should start with that kind of an expression. Hopefully that makes sense. Nabeen Regmi says, different people have different beliefs. In my personal opinion, a healthy mind, people have too much help in thinking, and not only thinking, they change while in the country. Nabeen, I'm very confused by what you're saying. answer the question directly, rethink your answer. Rajveer says, yes, certainly, I agree with this notion. As I had just mentioned, physical exercise and nutrition play an important role to maintain a healthy mind. People get the required materials through meditation and working out. Rajveer, nice. Okay, so yeah, absolutely. We just talked about it. Make the connection if you can, for sure. Okay, I agree. Nadia Khalil says, yes, it's true that without a healthy body, the brain just can't work properly because the human body is like a computer and CPU. All right, Nadia, I like analogies. They work. Just make sure that you have a clear analogy if you're comparing the mind and the body to a computer and the CPU. Okay, but it's good. Naveen Verma says, if I can find it again, it says, definitely I agree that a healthy body leads to a healthy brain, but not completely to the effective brain, because we should train our minds, which leads to a more productive type of thinking. Okay, careful with repetition, students. Forhad Ibn Aziz says, indeed, I believe that to have a healthy mind and a healthy body is very imperative, as I mentioned, when talking about the healthy diet, resulting in proper functioning of the brain, and helps to develop the body. Sure. Hikmatillo says, yes, I absolutely agree with this statement. Provided that a person has a healthy body, he will also have a clear mind with the help of daily activities such as exercise and playing chess. Right, Hikmatillo? Okay, good. All right. So yes, I agree with this notion 100%. The mind and the body are an intricately intertwined mechanism. As I said, eating well and working out are essential for brain health. Without it, both the body and the mind suffer. All right, so here is another nice high-level answer, emphasizing a couple of key points here, students. When you're asked if you agree or disagree with the statement, always, always, always start with yes, I agree, or no, I disagree. Okay, that's what you should start with. If you don't start with those, then the examiner has to wait and try to figure out whether or not you actually agree or disagree. You don't want that situation. Okay, so repeat after me. Some people believe that a healthy body leads to a healthy mind. Do you agree with this? Why or why not? Yes, I agree with this notion 100%. The mind and the body are an intricately intertwined mechanism. Intricately means with a lot of detail. Okay, of course, we have our brain, our spinal cord, our nervous system. It's all very connected with the other parts of our physiology, our body. Intertwined. Intertwined literally means twined together like this. If you think of the DNA strand, this is intertwined. It's when you have elements mixing together. That's what intertwined means, okay? So intricately intertwined mechanism. As I said, eating well and working out are essential for brain health. Without it, both the body, this should be a period, capital. Without it, both the body and the mind suffer. Okay? All right. Doing really well so far, students. So I'm really liking your answers. And I can definitely see some nice high band responses among your answers. Make sure to practice speaking. Record your answers on your phone. Listen back to them. Say them faster, better, more accurately, with intonation. using the record function on your phone can be really, really helpful. Okay, and then here is the follow-up question. Let's move the whole bit down a little. So on the paper for the examiner, they always have the primary question and then at least one follow-up question, sometimes more, sometimes 2 or 3 follow-up questions. So yes, you agree with this, and then the examiner might say, is this always true? So is it always true that a healthy body leads to a healthy mind? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. Is it always true that if somebody has a healthy body, it will lead to a healthy mind? Okay. Let's see what you come up with. Ferdows Nabiev says, absolutely. Recent research tells us that those who maintain a healthy body will also have a healthy brain at all times. Okay. All right. Perhaps that works. Hey, I'm just an examiner. I'm not here to judge your answer. I'm just here to judge your communication and your English, right? There's a difference there. So as long as you say it clearly, and it makes sense, I can give you a good band score. Pedram says, well, not always. It depends on personality as well. What I mean is that individuals should have a good mindset. Like my uncle, who is fit, but he can't think properly as he faces many problems in life. Pedram, really nice answer. I loved the answer, explanation, example. Okay. Aditya says, yes, a healthy body will always possess a healthy brain. Mingyuk Nguyen says, yep, it's true because a good body will always have a good brain. Students, don't use the word your. So Min, Yuk Nguyen, stay away from the word you and your. Don't speak directly to the examiner. Rodrigo says, I think so. And speaking about myself, I work out for an hour each day. And after this, it's been leading to great improvement in my thinking, in my everyday life. Rodrigo, careful with that response. It has some grammar and word choice mistakes. Rajveer says, in my case, it is true in most cases. However, on some occasions, humans do need to train their mind by playing some analytic games. Okay. Hassan says, surely most people have a sharp mind if they have a healthy body. For example, I read an article that mentioned eating healthy keeps the human body processes and functions active and good. All right. Dhruv Zalavadya says, yes, in my view, because after meditation and other mind activities, this is good for my body's health. Students, remember, does a good, healthy body always lead to a healthy mind? That's what we're talking about here. Preeti says, yes, definitely it's true, because if the body has some problems, the mind is unable to focus and is distracted. My uncle's arm is fractured, and he is always in a panic and cannot control his emotions. All right. Juan Pablo says, not always. There can be specific situations for some individuals which can influence their mind negatively. I met a guy at work who used to go to the gym always, but he comes from an unhealthy environment and is often depressed. Yeah, okay. So here's a little tip, especially for the academic IELTS students. Always is a superlative, okay? It means it's absolute, okay? In reality, in science, in school, absolutes are usually not true. It's very, very, very rare in the human world that absolutes are true. So whenever you hear a superlative, you have to be a little bit careful, okay? So as soon as you hear a superlative, you should think, okay, probably not true, all right? And when you're writing, task 1, task 2, be really careful with superlatives. It's usually better to use relatives. So not always, but as a couple of you wrote cleverly, you said most of the time. Okay, so most of the time, most is a relative. It's not always, but it's most of the time. Okay. So whenever you hear a question like, is it always true or is this never true? You should probably think, the best answer is probably no. All right. And it will allow you to express yourself in more detail, more fluently as well. So this is what I would answer. Again, it's personal preference here, but I would say, I believe that it is true most of the time, but not always. There are some exceptions where people have bad genetics and environment, which leads to an unfit mind. One clear example of this would be the super fit inmates who have aggressive and delinquent thinking. All right. So that would be your band 9 answer. Okay, again, where am I getting this? Visualization. So what am I doing? I'm basically saying, can I visualize fit people who have bad thinking? Okay, so this is the workings of my mind. When I'm asked this question, is it always true that a healthy body leads to a healthy mind? And then I think, well, can I think of an example? It's called the null hypothesis for all of you scientists. Can I think of an example where there are really healthy people who have very unhealthy thinking? And that's when I see, okay, all of those men mostly, but also women in jail who are super buff, super fit, they're exercising all day, all night, they eat okay in a lot of cases as well, but they certainly aren't thinking that healthy, right? So my answer would be this. I believe it is true most of the time, but not always. There are some exceptions where people have bad genetics and environment, which leads to an unfit mind. One clear example of this would be the super fit inmates who have aggressive and delinquent behavior or delinquent thinking. Inmate, again, I'm building your vocabulary here. An inmate is a prisoner. Okay? The difference between prisoner and an inmate is a person who didn't do any bad action could be a prisoner, but an inmate is a person who actually committed some kind of a crime. Okay? So political prisoner, a war prisoner, POW, prisoner of war, those are all prisoners, or a criminal prisoner. But an inmate is specifically a criminal prisoner. All right? Keep that in mind. All right? Delinquent thinking means bad thinking, okay? Negative thinking. All right. Let's keep going. Next question. What improvements in the education system could improve thinking of students? I'm really excited to read and hear what answer you come up with for this question. So a lot of students in the chat from many different parts of the world with a lot of different education systems. So I'm really curious about your answers. What improvements in the education system could improve the thinking of students? Give me a nice full sentence answer for that one. Okay. Let's see. What have you come up with? Ferdab says, in my opinion, improvements in schools like chess class, meditation, and yoga might enhance the cognitive skills of students. Ferdab's a beautiful answer, really nice use of vocabulary and connection among all of the previous answers. That's very good. Okay. Pedram says, teaching a morning routine, journaling, and meditation can help a lot to young people to organize their thoughts because our mind is a quantum machine, and this should be recognized in the education system. Pedram, you have a good answer. Just make sure to focus on the subject, the education system. Okay? Don't lose that in your answers, students. Always keep the subject in your answers. Hassan says, I concur that to enhance students' thinking in schools is needed to give pupils the opportunity to think aloud and independently. That can improve their emotional and intellectual skills as well. Hassan, really nice. I love how you're pushing the boundaries of your grammar and vocabulary use. I made a couple of corrections there, so take note of that. All right. Charlie Sen says, Charlie, did you just become a member during this class? I think so. Good for you. So Charlie Sen says, well, I think the Education Authority should introduce a free period in the academic curriculum where students can jump into their imaginations and create whatever they like to encourage them to learn from nature. Okay, that's an interesting concept, Charlie. Education Authority would be the Ministry of Education. So I think the Ministry of Education can introduce a free period. Okay. Roshni Kunte says, well, I never thought about it, but yes, including modern technology in classrooms like Headspace and also special classes of meditation that help keep children calm and think properly could improve the thinking of students. Nice, Roshni. Finish the idea, but you're definitely on the right track. Marasa says, that's an interesting question. Very clever, Roshni and Marasa. You realize that this is the kind of question where you want to slow the pace of the examiner and buy yourself a little bit of thinking and breathing time. So using a leading expression here would be a very clever approach. So Marasa says, that's an interesting question. The thinking capacity of pupils could be boosted through reading competitions, not only to explore their knowledge, but also enhance their imaginative power, their power of imagination. Marasa, the natural English expression is usually their power of imagination. Okay, power of imagination. That's the more natural way to respond to that. All right. Rajveer says, as per my opinion, schools and colleges should not only educate pupils through games, but also organize competitions to check students' information related to a healthy diet and educate them on this front. Very good, Rajveer. Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, that is an interesting and pertinent question. Pertinent means that it's important now. Okay, pertinent, some more vocabulary. It means important now. Okay, as we globalize, as education systems change, it's important, and it's important when, it's important now. Pertinent, nice high-level vocabulary. Well, that's an interesting and pertinent question. In regards to my experience playing chess, I believe that strategy game classes could be introduced to better students' critical thinking. In addition, the Ministry of Education should implement self-development classes with a focus on healthy eating and improved communication skills. All right. So that's my answer. What improvements in the education system could improve thinking of students? Speak and repeat after me. Well, that is an interesting and pertinent question. In regards to my experience playing chess, I believe that strategy game classes could be introduced to better students' critical thinking. In addition, the Ministry of Education should implement self-development classes with a focus on healthy eating and improved communication skills. Now, a very common follow-up question is, can you elaborate? So, can you elaborate? You should always be able to elaborate. Elaborate basically means, can you give more details to what you just said? Okay, so can you give more details to what you just said? Okay, can you elaborate? Should always begin with yes. And then maybe give an example, go into more details. Ferdow's Nabiev says, for example, at my university, students have chess class and meditation for 10 minutes after every class, and students' analytic skills and IQs are testing higher than ever before. Okay, I don't know about 2 times more for Dobbs. That would be a little overambitious, but definitely testing more. Okay. Charlie Sen says, well, students don't get too much time in creative activities due to their hectic study routine. Their thinking becomes linear, which is not necessarily productive. If students learn from pragmatic experience, this can make them more successful in life. Very nice, Charlie Sen. I just finished up that sentence and added a little bit of color. Okay. Oh, there we see. I see you're finished, Charlie Sen. It's basically the same as what I just said, which will eventually help them in their future. Padram says, of course, as individuals start to learn how to plan their day and their tranquil time from the education system, it can boost their education status as well. Most successful people learn from a coach. So this could be an effective way to learn in school and enhance thinking. Arshia Lamba says, for example, the Delhi government has recently introduced a happiness curriculum in the daily school routine. This is a step to make students capable of developing their personal qualities and thereby enhance their thinking. Arshia, very nice example. Okay, so yes, of course. I think that the education system could schedule 3 hours of strategy and self-development classes to increase the dynamic thinking of their students and raise their overall satisfaction with the learning process. I mean that with these classes, their thinking will become better as they will enjoy learning more. All right. So there's my answer. And again, when you have this, can you elaborate, go into details, explanations, and examples can be really good here. Okay. So can you elaborate? Yes, of course. I think that the education system could schedule 3 hours of strategy and self-development classes each week. It's in my head, didn't get to the board. To increase the dynamic thinking of students and raise their overall satisfaction with the learning process. I mean that with these classes, their thinking will become better as they will enjoy learning more. All right. And I have some more fantastic answers on the board. Hikmatillo says, certainly many students in my school have their daily morning exercises to freshen their mind. It not only helps them think critically, but also improves their physical fitness. Hikmatillo, I made a couple of corrections there. Pachu Yadav says, well, as I mentioned before, encouraging students in participating in physical exercise, such as playing sports like chess, will lead to become healthier and improve the minds of students. Some information mistake there, Pachu. Chess is not really a physical exercise. I mean, you have to move a lot of chess pieces to get built biceps. Juan Pablo says, sure. For example, I did some research about the education system in Finland for my thesis in college, and I found out that the school allows students to play and think, and therefore they have improved much compared to other societies. Okay, good. Juan Pablo, it's a nice answer. Okay, so if you're doing a great job in part 3 and you're moving along nice and smooth, you're answering questions fluently, then the examiner will lead into another related topic like, let's discuss effective learning. What are the most important steps needed to make sure students learn effectively? Why are these so important? Can you give an example? How has technology helped increase the efficiency of learning? Which kinds of technology will make a big difference in education and learning in the future? Students, I will leave these questions as a homework exercise for you to do over the next couple days. Record it on your phone in MP3 format, please, MP3 format, so I don't have to download it to the local drive. And I will gladly listen to your answer for these questions and then give you a score estimate, tell you roughly what you can expect for your responses. So again, record them on your phones, listen back, perfect them, work on them. And to all of our viewers, again, if you haven't done this, I really, really, really highly recommend joining our courses at aehelp.com, GIELTShelp.com. Even if you don't have money, try the free version. There's still a lot of goodies there in the demo version. And definitely get our apps, Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help, loads of videos, even in the free versions. So download them, join them, get them. Make good use of your time to improve your thinking and learn effectively. That's it for me for today. I will be back on Wednesday, the 8th of January. So no classes Monday or Tuesday. The next class is on Wednesday at this time, 15 o'clock Central European Time. You're very, very welcome, Hikmatillo. Thank you for the feedback, Pedram. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I enjoyed your participation. Much love to you as well, Police Crime Eugen. Love those emojis. Have a great start to your next week, everyone. Push forward. Remember, you're a beautiful person and you have an amazing mind. So keep it up. Bye for now.